want to tell you guys a story time of how I got diagnosed with diabetes. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Mackenzie, and by the title of today's video, you guys can tell that my life has been super fun, super surprising, filled with so much excitement. I don't think I filmed a video since like February, and I need to change that. And I'm going to fill you guys in on all the reasons why I haven't been on your guys' computer screens, why I haven't posted on this channel in a while, and just like where I've been and everything that has happened recently, because it's a lot. So to start this video off, I wrote a bunch of notes so I don't miss anything because there is a lot to talk about. But the first thing I want to start the intro to this whole entire thing about is the fact that I was put on Imuran. It is also used to treat people with Crohn's disease, but it is also a form of anti-rejection med that goes along with my tacrolimus. If you are new here, I had a double lung transplant back in 2019, so I'm going on 4 years in October. I'm sick. But anyway, it all started in January when I started on Imuran. December, January, as I said, I'm on tacrolimus, which is the big main anti-rejection med, and then I'm also on prednisone, which is a steroid, 5 milligrams every single day for the rest of my life, which is also an agent to protect my immune system. Now, the most ideal form of coverage is to have 3 different agents. So for like 2.5 years, I was on a thing called Cellcept. Mycophenolate is also the name of the drug. And it worked together with Tacro and prednisone, and it kind of did its thing. And then my doctor had taken me off because that's usually kind of just the protocol, what they do. He wanted to start me back on Cellcept again. I didn't really respond to it, just made my stomach hurt. So then he said, okay, we'll do this drug called Imuran, which, like I said, would just be the 3rd agent to protect and fight against different areas of my immune system. Got that covered. Imuran is the main character in this story. Since moving here, if you guys don't know, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee at the end of November. So from November till March, I had not gotten lab work done. And this is something I frequently did since transplant, like every, I don't even know, like 2 to 6 weeks, I would get lab work done. So not having lab work done for a few months was a big deal. I was left in the dark. I had a lot of health anxiety. I had no idea what was going on, what my tacro level was, because my tacrolimus level is supposed to be between, like, pretty sure it's like 8 to 10 range, 7 to 10 range. And so when I was finally able to get into a lab from my mom's work, I checked my tacro and it was 4.4. It was the lowest it's ever been. I have no idea why, but we'll get to that. I never missed a dose. You can't. It's literally like your life depends on this medication. Like, you can't miss a dose. So I have no idea why my tacro was so low. So of course I went up on my tacro, and then my tacro went high. But let me just tell you guys my issue with the lab. So this was all, like, getting my lab work done, and the reason why it took me so long is because it took me a while to be able to get on insurance here with TennCare, which is the Medicaid here in Tennessee. So like, it took me a while to be able to see someone so that, you know, it'd be covered by insurance. And before I was fully able to get into Vanderbilt Healthcare, I went to my mom's doctor. So with them, they're just more of a primary doctor. They're not specialties. So the lab itself takes like a week to get results back. But if you guys know, if you're a transplant recipient, if you're just someone who, you know, has a chronic illness, you get lab work done a lot, you need those lab results ASAP so that they're the most accurate and you can make med changes based on your results. But I wasn't getting my lab works done, or I wasn't getting my lab results done for a week later. So, you know, I got my tacro back after going up because it was low, and it went from a 4.4 to 11.3. But it was 11.3 a week later, you know what I mean? So like a week later I saw the result, but there was a week's time where that 11 probably went to 18. I don't even know. But I had a lot of signs that my tacro was high. I had some vision problems. I had some abdominal pain. My back hurt a little bit. And those are like the main symptoms that I have with high tacro. But the biggest one that was kind of creeping in my mind of like I don't have, which I always have with high tacro, is that my head hurts. And that I'm more shaky. I have more tremors because, you know, Tacro itself at a normal level makes you shake a little more. So I was like, okay, that's weird. And I started noticing some other symptoms in the meantime, which was, and I will list those off, I had extreme thirst. Like, I was so thirsty. I was drinking like 64 plus ounces of water a day and still so thirsty. I couldn't get enough water, and if you know me, I'm not like that. Like, I struggle to even drink water, so the fact that I just wanted water so much, I was having liquid IV, nothing was making me not thirsty. I was so thirsty. It was like actually insane. My mouth so dry, it wouldn't be undry. I drank so much and my mouth was like sticking together. It was like gross. I would wake up in the morning and it would just like not be good. That was some other symptoms that I noticed that were different from high Tacro, but still I was like, it has to be that, because like what else would it be? But I should have listened to my intuition, because I was thinking, well, I am on Imuran, and I don't know what kind of, you know, symptoms that can bring. And I was having a lot more frequent lung infections. I had like 3 or 4 colds since living here, which turned really bad. Like, my lungs were they sounded so bad. That was unlike me. I hadn't had a cold since transplant. I've been overall very healthy, so it was really weird that I kept having these frequent like lung exacerbations that I only had prior to transplant. Then also my other symptoms, along with the thirsty and the dry mouth, was my vision was more blurry than usual, like very blurry. But I was kind of thinking, okay, I do need to up my contact glasses prescription, so that's probably why. But it was like a drastic change. Like, even sitting, you know, not even 3 feet from the television, like, it was blurry. Like, this is different. This is not normal. Something is going on. So I also want to mention, the first time that I got my lab work done, my Tacro was 4.4, like I said. Also, the other labs that were kind of off was my glucose was over 200, which was weird and out of the ordinary for me, but I had not really fast. So I thought that maybe that was just candy. I eat a lot of candy. So I really didn't even think about it. Also, I could see my creatinine level, which is your kidney function level, creeping up a little bit. And then I got my lab work done again, and you know, like, each time I would get my lab work done, my glucose was going up, you know, inching up every time. My next glucose the other time was 317. And I was like, okay, I really did fast that time, because I made it, you know, apparent too fast, because I was like, let me see. And it was 317, which is just weird. If you're not eating all night and you wake up and your blood sugar is 317, something is going on. Weird, but I didn't act on anything. Now, more of the symptoms that I was having was kidney/abdominal pain, like I said before, but I was just thinking that was, you know, Tacro problem. So again, just thinking my Tacro was high. I don't know, but also still should have listened to my gut that it was Imuran. Other symptoms that I had were I lost like 9 pounds in the span of 2 weeks. Always around like 110 to 108. Recently I've been 110, and I was 101 when I weighed myself. You know your body, you know something's up, you know these symptoms aren't adding up, they're not normal, and you just have to listen to yourself. So if you're watching this, listen to yourself if your body's trying to tell you something, because most of the time if something is going awry, like, your body is going to tell you, it's going to give you warning signs, it's going to let you know that something is up and you need to get it figured out. I just felt high. I've never been high. I don't know what that is like, but I feel like this is how I would imagine it, just like high up in the clouds, like you could just run a marathon, but you're also like at the same time tired. So it's really weird. I was more tired, but also high up in the clouds. Before my 3rd time getting my labs checked since being in Tennessee, I was like, I'm gonna fast this time. I feel a lot better. You know, let's figure it out. I went down on my Tacro. Let's figure this out. This is gonna be good this time. And, you know, everything's gonna be fine. My Tacro's gonna be corrected. Everything's gonna be good. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. What do you think my glucose was? I'm taking guesses. Comment in the comments. I'm just kidding. It was 569. Yeah. Fasting glucose. And I was like, oh. So as soon as I saw that result, I hurried up. I called my doctors and I was like, what the hell? This is not normal. This is not normal at all. Like, what's going on? And my doctor said, stop the Imuran. It's probably attacking your pancreas. So I stopped it. I met my mom at her work and we went off to the ER. I got there and we got right in pretty fast. I got a blood sugar reading that wouldn't even go to the machine because it was so high. And at that point I knew it was over 600 because they say that if it's not being able to read on a machine, it's because it's over 600. And so I knew, like, this is crazy right now. So I went into the lab. They double teamed, you know, blood work, blood cultures, sitting there, like, getting it all done, getting the whole shebang. Yeah, and then I just waited in the waiting room for a bed to open. So after that, we just sat in the ER bed and I waited till I can get my results back. So they came in. My blood sugar was 690, close to 700. I luckily, by the grace of, I don't even know, by my luckiest stars, I did not fall into DKA, which if you guys don't know what that is, so it's basically when your blood switches over into a different metabolism, and it just causes a whole new set of problems, like a whole new set of problems because, you know, your body is not recognizing anything. And I feel like that would have been a really big issue too for, you know, someone like me with a transplant because of the fact that I have my donor's lungs in me. So it would probably like awaken something in my body to let my body know, like, these are not my lungs and we need to start fighting them. So just so glad. I have no idea how I didn't fall into that. They were like, you don't even look like someone that, you know, is in the 690s. Like, but that's how I am. I'm always an anomaly when it comes to these things. I had kidney failure when I was 10 years old, and they were like, you should be hallucinating. You should be seeing like spiders on the walls, like all these things, because my creatinine was 12, and your creatinine's not supposed to be over 1. So I've always been different. I mean, even up to get my transplant, I walked myself up onto the operating table, and usually, you know, they have to use a gurney and like get you up there, but for me, I just kind of jumped right up on there. So I don't know. And they were like, do you even need a transplant? I'm like, I think so. And it's like this whole thing. I've just always been like that. I cheered with, you know, 20-something% lung function. I did halftime dances with that low of function. So it's weird. And yeah, I'm always opposite. Glad I called when I did, because if I would have waited a little longer, you know, DKA could have been, you know, a couple seconds later. So good thing. We finally got insulin in me. So they gave me 10 units for 690. But the thing with me is I've never been a true diabetic. I had this happen to me after transplant where I had to take insulin for, you know, a month or 2, 3 months, something like that, because of prednisone, because prednisone is a steroid, which therefore makes your sugars, you know, skyrocket, but it's a temporary thing after transplant because usually your sugars level out, which they did, and I was good. But for me, I've never been a true diabetic, so if you give someone that's not a true diabetic insulin, that is going to crash at some point. And so it did. Like, I went from 690 to 89, like a perfect in range, but it felt like the lowest blood sugar that you could ever have because that is a major drop. I remember feeling it. At that point, they were taking me back to a room in the ER. I didn't quite get a room upstairs or anything yet, but I got a room in the ER, which I felt, you know, my sugar drop, like crash like crazy. I was like this, it was really bad. So we got juice, we got it all figured out, it went up, and I stayed in the hospital for 3 days while they were kind of just doing observation and had me on insulin, and then sent me home on insulin. And so I've been on insulin ever since, but I want to tell you guys a little bit more on why I ended up here and a little bit more about Imuran and exactly what it did to my body, because it's very interesting and I have done a lot of research myself. Like I said before, my transplant doctor in Cleveland said it is probably attacking your pancreas. That's as far as we got. Like, I didn't hear anything else, but I took it upon myself to research everything and to figure it out because I knew in my soul I was not a true diabetic. I'm like, this is not ordinary for me. Yes, I'm not the best eater. I do have CF, and with CF you can get CFRD, which is cystic fibrosis related diabetes, but I just felt it. Like, this isn't going to be my new normal. I know it's not, and this is strictly med related because I was doing perfectly fine before being put on Imuran. Let me tell you guys a little bit about my research because I'm proud of it. This is like a little puzzle piece that I put together, and I just want to explain to you guys because I think it's pretty cool. I want to tell you guys the comparison of while being on Imuran and while being off of Imuran and kind of what the difference is, and you tell me if you think this is med related or not, because I have a feeling I know what your answer is going to be. While I was on Imuran, I lost 9 pounds in 2 weeks. We went over that. I had horrible vision. I could not see. Like, it was really bad. It wasn't quite blind or anything like that happened after transplant, but it was really bad vision and double vision, and just like even with contacts and glasses on, it was bad. Extreme thirst, dry mouth, outrageous sugars, as you know, and then also my kidney numbers. I want to tell you guys because these are really important. So my GFR, which is, it goes along with your kidney function, it should be above 60. And my number was 38 while I was in the hospital. That was my last lab of being in the hospital. You know, below 60 is bad, and mine was 38. So it was on the lower end, you know. So, and then my creatinine was 1.56, which it shouldn't be above 1. That is the facts while on Imuran. And then also, I had a lot of frequent exacerbations, a lot of frequent infections, lung infections. I was on Cipro, fluoxetine like 3 times since being here, and it was unlike me. Like, just all these things that were adding up just were not normal. It was all new. And I also want to make note that pre-Imuran, I was getting my sugars checked frequently, and my fasting sugars always fell in between like 93, 92, sometimes a little higher, like 110, 120 if I like didn't fast properly, but it never was high. Like, it never was outrageously high. So that was before Imuran, you know? So of course, like, my sugars have always been good. Now I am off of Imuran, and I've been off for like 3 weeks now. And let me just tell you guys what has happened. So I was 101 while on Imuran. Now I am 106.8 pounds. My vision is better, and I will get into that because I want to tell you guys a little bit about my vision, because this is in itself a roller coaster. No more extreme thirst. I feel like I'm back to my normal where I have to force myself to drink water. No dry mouth. My sugars are leveling out. Like, my fasting sugar this morning was 93, like literally perfect. I am now barely on insulin. I only take insulin if needed, and I take my long-acting insulin. So that is, you know, an insulin shot in the morning. That kind of pushes out over the course of 12 to 24 hours. So that's nothing crazy. That's just a little boost of something. If I take insulin now, sometimes I fall because again, I'm not a true diabetic. I am leveling out because I'm off Imuran. Now my GFR is 90, which again, it's not supposed to be below 60. So it went all the way from 38 to 90 after 3 weeks after not being on Imuran. And my creatinine is 0.083. So it is well below 1 and back in its normal range, as we love. So what do you guys think? Do you think Imuran is the cause here? Because I'm 1000% Imuran. I have 2 more things I want to cover with you guys, because I want to explain to you guys like why Imuran did what it did. Your pancreas is in charge of 2 of the most important things for your body, and that is digesting your enzymes, and that is for secreting insulin. So to put out insulin, so when, you know, normal people eat their food, it pushes out insulin to level out their blood sugar, and they're good to go. So if I was taking Imuran, and Imuran is linked to pancreatitis and acute pancreatitis, what I believe happened was I was on Imuran for a sufficient amount of time, enough for it to start attacking my pancreas. Like my doctor had said, I definitely had acute pancreatitis. So I had all the symptoms: losing weight, blood sugars high. You know, if Imuran was attacking my pancreas, it would make sense that my pancreas was no longer able to give myself enzymes so I could digest my food properly. Therefore, why I lost so much weight in a quick amount of time. And then also, it was not producing any insulin for me if it was shutting down, because, you know, there was no insulin to give, and so I was just eating, and my body was just producing high sugars, and it was not being able to come down because there was no insulin being provided at all. So my kidneys were being shot as well. So like, if your pancreas isn't working, your kidneys are going to overcompensate for what your pancreas can't do. And so my kidneys were being fed like all this sugar because my pancreas, again, wasn't secreting any insulin. And my kidney level was just getting destroyed because my kidneys were like, what do I do with all this sugar? I'm going to make my GFR go bad. I'm going to up the creatinine. and until you get this figured out, we're gonna cry. So I feel like that's exactly what happened. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to bring, you know, light to if your doctor, if you are a transplant recipient, if you're someone who your doctor ever mentions taking Imuran, just be aware that this is a symptom, because I feel like it's not a common symptom, because the doctors kept trying to tell me, you know, at Vanderbilt, like, you know, there's no connection between Imuran and high sugars. And I'm like, well, if you take a deeper dive out of the box, look into it, there actually is. There's a first person to react to something differently for everything. So there really is a link, because if you research it, you know, Imuran does a number on the pancreas. And if it's doing a number on the pancreas, it's going to have these effects, and it's kind of like a domino effect. You know, one thing happens and then it causes another thing to go wreak havoc, and then it's just this whole domino effect. So it really does affect the pancreas and your sugars and everything if you really look into it. Remember the word Imuran and talk to your doctors about it. So like I said, my vision was getting really bad. So I had bad vision, but it was starting, like once my sugars were leveling out, it was starting to get better with glasses. And you know, I never had my contacts in a long time, because even before getting in the hospital, I was just like wearing my glasses. So I went home on insulin and everything, and I noticed after a few days that my glasses were even getting a little blurry, which was weird. And I was getting frequent headaches, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Let me try to take off my glasses, maybe just give my eyes a break. So I took off my glasses, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put on my contacts and get back to my contacts, because I like wearing contacts over glasses anyway. So I put on my contacts, those were blurry. I've always had to wear glasses or contacts. Take on my contacts, I can see. Guys, I have worn glasses since 4th grade, and then I got contacts in like 8th grade. How am I able to see without those two agents? I have zero idea. I have 20/20 right now, and I have no glasses on, no contacts in. What is going on? And then, you know, I put it on my Instagram story. Some people were like, well, maybe you always had bad sugars. But that's not true, because I was getting my sugars checked all the time. I still couldn't see for crap. So I have no idea, but I knew in my soul that it was gonna be too good to be true. I knew one of these days I was gonna wake up, it's gonna go back to normal. But it was like a week and a half where I didn't have contacts or glasses in, and then the night before I went to Ohio for my best friend's wedding, my vision started getting blurry again, with no contacts or glasses on, and I was like, ugh. And I put my contacts in and I could see. And so I literally don't know what that week was where I just had random perfect vision again that I've never had since 4th grade. So I like have no idea what that was about. It was the weirdest thing ever, but you know, it was good while it lasted, because it's not like that anymore. I have contacts in now. Right now, I am currently just on insulin as needed. Like I said, I'm on my long-acting still in the morning, 5 units, and I take my blood sugars. They've really been under control, and I feel really, really good about the fact that I'm not actually a diabetic. I think I need to wait and get an A1C. So my A1C, I forgot to tell you guys, my A1C after all of this, which your A1C is a collective average of 3 months of glucose levels, and my A1C was 10.6, like crazy. It's not supposed to be, I think you're diabetic if it's over like 6.6 or something. My A1C is always like 5.6, 5.7, 5.8. It's always right there. So I'm praying, and I have a feeling it's gonna go back to my normal range, because I'm off Imuran. This whole regimen will not be needed anymore, and I can go back to normal. But right now I have diabetes, and it's just crazy. Let this also be a PSA to listen to your body. I knew that something was up, whether it was Tacro, whether it was Imuran. I did mention to my doctors a few times, like, I think Imuran is not good for me. I don't like it. Why am I sick? Why am I having all these issues come up all of the sudden that I've started Imuran over the last couple months? Also, your A1C, like I said, is a 3-month cumulative of all the scores, and I was like, at the time, on Imuran for 3 months. So it really makes sense. Listen to your body, because you know, the doctors can tell you anything they want. They're medical professionals, and you should listen to them. Like, definitely listen to your doctors, but take a big account that you know your body the best. You live in your body, you feel what you feel, you know what you know what's normal, you know it's not normal. I was just not myself for the last few months. Like, since living here, I was having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, like crying, very big mood swings, not passionate about the things that I'm always passionate about, which a big thing is YouTube. Now I'm gonna start getting back into it because my body is back normal and it feels more to the ground. I feel more, you know, like grounded and more myself than ever. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I know that was a big update for you guys. I will be back with more tier list videos. I have some in mind and I have some other videos in mind as well. And I'll just be back with my regular fun content. And thank you guys again for watching. Today's subscriber shout out goes to Brianna Hodges. Thank you guys so much. And thank you to everyone too who has recently subscribed. I recently hit over 700, which is really, really cool. And you know, closer to my goals every day. So thank you so much. It means a lot, like seriously, that you guys care enough to stick around and, you know, watch me and watch my life unfold. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.